just to kind of set the stage. So how high can PulseChain and PulseX go? Shout out to Leve Neville. I found this tweet looking for it. I know a lot of people posted it. Hex McKenzie, I think, originally came up with one or both of these. But this is something I want to bring up because people are always talking about this. Always comparing, okay, what can PulseChain actually do? Maybe they look at market cap. Maybe they look at the network effect, the user counts, active wallets, how early people are versus the other, how much can it grow, how many projects are launching on it. A lot of different metrics you go by and weight them in different ways. But for PulseChain, for example, this was floating around way before PulseChain launch. And I think it's just pretty cool to see AVAX, all the X's it did, 300 some days, BNB, Solana, Luna, Phantom, Atom, or is that Cosmos Atom token, and Celo. I think Celo, it seems Celo a little bit around before too. Average X's of those different L1s is 656 X, and the average days was around, or the average years rather, come up to about 1.4 years. So around 1.4 years, we're at almost a year for PulseChain. We're at 9 months. Yeah, around 9 months for PulseChain. Coming up on a year, and all these other tokens, I think this was in the last cycle, did those X's. I think sounds like they were new last cycle around there. I think maybe BNB was before that. Maybe BNB was 2017 or so. But 2020 was definitely, I think, Solana and a few of these other ones. So that's one way to look at it on PLS. Now let's say that you have, $100. Well, it's going to let me do it. $100. Today, $100 gets you 676,000 PulseChain. $1,000, add a zero somewhere in there, around that 6 million or so. 10,000, 67 million. You can just keep going with that, right? So if you were to put in, 1,000, 10,000, stuff like that, and you wanted to get 100x, you wanted to get, or to $1 million, for example. So if you had 10,000, much easier to get there with 10,000, right? You need PulseChain to do 100x. If you put $10,000 in, that's around 67 million Pulse today. Again, none of this financial advice. I'm just going over the numbers, not telling anyone what to do. Just purely looking at the numbers here. $10,000, 67 million Pulse. Pulse does a 100x, 67 million, worth a lot more. So that would, 100x from 10,000 be the million. Now, if you just put $1,000, a lot harder to get to $1 million. You need 1,000x, right? So you need 6 million Pulse to be worth $1 million, stuff like that. So pretty interesting. It's always, even the hex mechanics and stuff too. It's like longer pays better, bigger pays better. It kind of, there's a lot of overlap with just stuff in crypto in general, where if you're able to wait a long enough time period, and what do you think the 401k and all this stuff comes from? If you get a bunch of people to lock up a bunch of their money over long periods of time, it helps everything grow, right? It helps them, saves them from making poor decisions, because they're probably not most people aren't professional investors, and it helps the entire economy grow, and banks and borrowing and all that stuff too, whether you agree with the system or not, whether you hate the Fed or not, whatever. That's just talking about how it works today. So the government already likes you to do stuff like this. They already know, it's already recognized delayed gratification, longer pays better. Holding an asset that's not a scam, that goes up over time, inevitably with inflation, all this other stuff, or just the scarcity and all the other factors go to. I did all kinds of streams on what makes cryptocurrency valuable, different mechanics, different knobs you can turn, the supply and demand and game theory and network effect, all this stuff too. But essentially, we already know longer pays better, and bigger pays better can get you to a place faster. For example, if I put $1,000 in PulseChain, I needed to go up 1,000x if I want $1 million from it. If I put $10,000 in PulseChain, I only need it to go up 100x. Only 100x. I know that sounds, if you're new to crypto, that sounds like a lot. It sounds like, why would you be talking so casually about that? In crypto, it's really not. It is, there's so many coins, and of course it's, it's a good thing. And of course, it's something to, it doesn't happen to every crypto. I wish I had a list. I don't have any numbers in front of me, but I'm gonna go out on a limb and say hundreds of cryptos, if not thousands, have did 100x from their all-time low. Maybe not their launch price, but their all-time low. I'm gonna say thousands of cryptos have done that already. I don't know how many cryptos we have. We probably have, there's like new ones every day, right? Tokens in general, I don't know, there's probably over 100,000 at this point across all the networks, maybe much more. I don't know. But if thousands of coins have already done 100x from their lows, why can't PulseChain? Why can't any other RH coin, right? So that's the kind of stuff we're talking about. Becoming a millionaire for crypto is so much easier, at least on paper, so much easier than any other place in the world, right? Any other investment opportunity. Even and a lot of them you have to be already rich to get into. Like, got to be the I forget what it's called, accredited investor, right? You got to have like so much money or all this different stuff going on. So crypto is one of the few places where you can be broke and become a millionaire if you put it in the right place and wait long enough and have enough into it and make the right decisions. That's what I was listening to Ben DeBard today on the stream, and we were talking about, is this crypto cycle different? Is it going to be less or more or whatever? And I said that I don't think this cycle is different. Basically, the context was, what I believe the context was, okay, there's not enough. We're not going to have like these 1,000x's and stuff like we had before because crypto is different now or something. That's like maybe one thesis. But for me, I don't think crypto is different. I think that the same thing happens every time. It goes up a lot. People have a plan, or they don't have a plan. And if they do have a plan, they don't stick to the plan. They get sucked into euphoria. And that's one of my, I guess, flaws, you would say. Over the years, this will be my third crypto cycle. I will have completed my third crypto cycle after this bull market. And the biggest criticism I can give myself is I'm too good at holding. I don't know when to sell. And so, sometimes I can't sell because I'm staked, which is both a blessing and a curse in different ways, depending on the time horizon and stuff like you. Like it kind of sucks to be staked through the bull market into the next bear, but doesn't suck as much to be staked. And it actually can be quite profitable to be staked through multiple cycles. And hopefully, not trying to, it's hard to forget timing it, but just being able to have some unlocked when it's appreciated to a point where it doesn't hurt as bad when things are going down, or it's in a bear cycle or a bear market otherwise in the cycle. So I don't think I don't expect this cycle to be any different. Me personally, in my personal opinion, I think the same thing generally will happen. Maybe there's diminishing gains for other coins and stuff. Of course, Bitcoin and stuff. The higher the thing goes, the more institutionalized it is, the more liquidity is. There's all those cases you could be made that it won't do as well. But everything else, altcoins and stuff, I think it's the same story. There will be coins that come out. People will be early in them, and they'll sell at a 10x, or they'll sell at a 2x, or they'll sell at a 50x. And I've got a video I've clipped Sami talking. I believe you posted one today. I thought it was so meaningful about Pepe and how this one guy sold Pepe so early. I think he got like $1 million out. He put just a little bit in. He went up to $1 million, and he could have got $10 million and stuff like that, but he sold too early. And also what could happen is you just think it's going to keep going up, and you don't sell the top. And that's what I really like about Hex too, is it removes that. You don't need to trade as much. Of course there's trades you need to make back and forth just to get your positioning and take profit and all this stuff. I'm talking about watching a chart doing TA. You don't need to do that for Hex, because it's given you, just by burning it. Every time you lock it up, you're burning it. By burning Hex with a contract, basically promising you it'll give you more later, it can fulfill those promises. It's trustless because it's a contract, not a person, all that stuff. That is a way to get yield over time and get exposure to T-shares and all this stuff. I get tons of videos explaining what T-share is and different staking ladders. I did a lot of content on that last year because I saw the power of locking up early. I literally watched a video I made a Hex staking playlist, and I watched a video of me doing a stream when Hex on Ethereum was at 0.004. And now I'm pretty sure it's over a penny. I mean, checked. I was using hexcalc.net right here. Yeah, I mean, it's showing a penny right now for Ethereum. And that's when I was telling people that I've never made so many stakes as I have recently. And I was telling people, hey, this is, again, you can just do the math. You know, we talked about PulseChain. Let's talk about Hex for a minute. You got 1 million Hex. What is that? Is that like 1K from here? A penny million, 10K sounds about right. And just 365 days. Again, you don't have to do 15 years, 365 days. And let's say it does a 10X, just a 10X from here. So 10 cents on this Hex on Ethereum. 10X. That's 37 T-shares. And yeah, you're getting, what was that, 20%? 20%. So your bonuses, a longer pays better, you're getting a little bit of bigger pays better, around 20% there. And then if it goes up, all of a sudden, you know, your 1 million Hex, if it does a 10X, it's worth over 100K with your yield and all that. So these are not imaginary numbers. This is math. You know, you just have to believe the market's going to do that or not. If you don't, that's okay. But Hex went to 50 cents already before, and it went way down. It went down like 98%. It's one of the few, I think there's like 4 coins that went down that much and survived. I think Doge was one of them. And Hex certainly appears to be one of them. The community is bigger than ever, and people are still talking about it, and nothing's dead when you got, you know, 100 and some content creators talking about it, and a billionaire who's in it for glory. That's pretty cool. So yeah, 1 million Hex here. That's 10K. So we could just do, like, say, $1,000 for the Hex. 1 year. Again, 1 year. 3 T-shares. This is how much percentage of the yield that you're going to get from the pool. That's what T-shares basically are. Your shares. 120 million Hex. You got your 20% or so there. And then if it does a 10X, that's 10K. So let's say actually, so a lot of people, again, we're at dollar territory. Everyone's like, oh, dollar. Okay. Say it does 100X from here. 100X. Hex to $1 if it happens. $1,000 turns into 109,000. Pretty cool, right? But you want that $1 million. You want that $1 million. So the 10K in Hex, if it goes to $1, 10K in Ethereum Hex today, if it goes to $1, if it goes to that price, locked up, 365. So you don't have to stake it. This is just, you know, adding the staking to. You don't have to stake Hex. You can just buy it. But if you stake it, you know, you earn yield, as we've shown. You can save yourself from being weak and selling it. Oh, it went up a 10X. Saves you from selling on 10X. You can't. Otherwise, you're going to pay a big penalty and stuff. So there's a lot of advantages with staking. Let's hit that. $1 million. 10K if Hex does the $1, which everybody wants. Everybody wants, right? Everybody wants the dollar, either combined Hex or individual. Everybody wants that dollar. 10K can turn into over $1 million. 10K. So if someone were to tell me that I could put 10K, you know, I'm just tech guy, whatever. Hey, put 10K into crypto, you could be a millionaire. You don't have to lock it up. You can, and you'll be more than a millionaire. You can lock it up for a year. You can lock it up for a day. You can lock it up for however long. I would be interested. I would be interested, and I would think, who's the founder? What's the community look like? What are their values? What has the coin done before? And we'd all have this excellent story to tell around that, right? We'd all have this, well, it went up 10,000x and then it went down 98%. And now the community is bigger than ever. And there's PulseChain, and the founder is, you know, multi-billionaire, and, the contract's better than ever. People are building on it all the time. You got communists, you got Maximus stuff that people just keep launching new derivatives on it. You got people here who refuse to lose. They want Hex to win. There's a lot of people doing every single thing they can to make sure Hex wins, myself included. I feel like I contribute to part of that too in different ways. So I don't know how many times we can explain it. I mean, and if you're a hardcore Hexagon, or you just want, we can talk about minting the coupon rate for communists and stuff. Sorry, I said it. Communists. I've been telling people it's not communists this whole time, and I messed up. Communists. Coupon rate for communists is what, 15% or so? And so I believe that means if you make a 5555 for 10K, you would get $1,500 in communists. I believe it's what I heard today. Don't quote me on that, but that's I believe that's what it was. So you're looking at 15 years. Really believe in Hex and you want a lot more? 15 years. If you think Hex is going to be around, not a scam, still going to have a community, average stake length is like 7 years. If you lock up $10,000 worth of Hex, a million Hex for 15 years, you get, instead of 1 million, you get 3 million. And if Hex is worth $1 in 15 years, believe what you want to believe, Hex worth $1 in 15 years, estimated, that could be 3, 4, 5, over $5 million estimated payout with the different yield you're getting. And I think they have other different calculations, stuff, how they do it. I'm sure they have their own algorithm to figure all this stuff out. This calculator is saying could be over $5 million. But if Hex goes to $1, 15 years, it's got 15 years to go to $1 at this point. Your 10K could be $5.5 million in 15 years. I don't know how old you are out there listening. I'm not sure it matters that much. There's different ways to give stakes and stuff to your kids and grandkids and family and stuff like that too. You can make HSIs instead of native stakes. So they're transferable for different benefits as well. Although that does allow you to get liquidity and sell them and stuff too. Just depends on your goal and what you're trying to achieve. But personally, I look at these numbers. I was talking to Crispy yesterday, and he just talked about making more and more 5555 stakes, Cuatro Cinco. If somebody told you you could put 10K in today, and there's a chance just for 10K, again, everyone's got their own financial situation, stuff like that. Again, if you're 20 versus 40, you're going to look at life differently and all that stuff too. But 10K, you call it a lottery ticket. Could be a lottery ticket. I don't know. I mean, I believe in this stuff a lot. I don't think it's a lottery ticket. I look at a lot of the things around the ecosystem, they just look obvious to me. And of course, there's no certainty in anything, but a lot of stuff just looks obvious to me. 15 years, 10K at a chance for $5.5 million. I mean, again, according to how much money you make and how many years you got to work and what you plan on doing with your life, but 10K lottery ticket for $5.5 million. It'd have to be, that's 15 years. You don't have to do 15. You could do 10 years. What is it? 3650. I think it's around 10 years. Actually 10 years, funny enough, here's a little pro tip for Hex. You don't get any more after the 10 years. You don't get any more bonuses. You see, I can do 3651. So you're not earning any more you're not getting more T-shares. You're not getting any more bonuses and stuff. However, you're preserving the T-shares. I know it's like an advanced concept and stuff. Might not make a lot of sense to you at first, but basically when you lock it up, you're never going to get a better rate than what you get at that time once you do it again in T-share rate, Hex terms, all this stuff. I'm going to go through the mechanics, but essentially those 5 more years you hold on to it, you are preserving. It's called T-share preservation. You're preserving that rate that you got when you first did it. And again, if you don't know much about Hex, you halfway through, if you lock up for 15 years, at 7.5 years, you can emergency insight, get the Hex back, but you lose all the yield, but you would get your principal back or somewhere around there. 10 years, same thing. Lock up for 5 years or looking for 10 years, 5 years passes, you can still get out and with at least most of your principal. So there's ways to do this, even if you want to so you want to go get these 2 shares, but you're like, just in case, I'll go 10 years. That way, 5 years in, 5 years is a lot less than 10 years, 15 years. 5 years in, if the hex price is $1, then you can just take your million hex back. That's still, you got your $1 million or whatever. And that's like a worst case. I guess you could look at it as like a worst case type of thing. So that's like one way to look at it too. There's ladders. That's another thing. I got a whole playlist. If you go to, again, gorealdefi.com, click on under learn to earn. This is what I've been adding a lot of stuff to, a lot of playlists and stuff. Click staking. If you click staking, you'll see all these different ways to make ladders and stuff. Here's the stream I did on it too. Richard himself talking about it. T-shares explained all that stuff. Ultimate staking strategies. Coffee's got a lot of content on it. So if you go there and check it out, you can see the different strategies. So you don't have to do one big stake. You can do a ladder. You can do you can split this up. You can do 100K. You could do 100K coming out year 1, 100K coming out year 2, year 3, year 4. So you have options and stuff too. Now, of course, bigger pays better, longer pays better. You're sacrificing in different positions, different ways, but also you're kind of hedging against, hey, how long do I want to stay in this thing? Well, I have some I can get liquidity from sooner rather than later, all that stuff too. So I hope that makes sense. Anyone, let me know if you have any questions otherwise about that. But again, the road to being a millionaire, Hex, PulseChain, all this stuff, we have all the tools. We have all the math. We have all the yield, projected earnings. We have all the numbers. We have all the history. We don't have the certainty. We don't know what's going to happen. And nobody can tell you for sure if it's going to go up 1,000x, 10,000x, 100x, or if it's going to go to 0. Nobody knows that. All I can do, the way I look at it is, I can look and see what's available. I found this ecosystem. I found this founder. I like them. I like the products, audited, all that stuff. And I can decide where to put my energy, where to put my money, where to place my bets. All this uncertainty in crypto and markets, all that stuff. I could choose where to place my bets. A lot of people place their bets on Hex in the previous cycle, massively rewarded, massively. Will it do it again? Nobody knows. Nobody can tell you for sure. I certainly hope so, though. I hope it does half as good as it did last time. And PulseChain too. Like I said, look at the PulseChain numbers. Cycle 1 coin, there's a lot of stuff going for it. Of course, it had a lot more people in it than Hex did at first. However, again, we got the V2 liquidity pools on PulseX. I've talked about that being a pump of metal that I think Richard likes a lot too. We got benevolent whales out here making moves. We got God Whales on Twitter. Boy, I like it. I like my chances of turning hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars into millions of dollars. I like my chances. So this ecosystem is one of the few that actually give you the tools to do it in a trustless way. That's why I love this place.